Hey everyone, Zaku here. It's been a while since our last Pokemon challenge, but I'm ready to get these cranking again. Today we figure out, can I beat Pokemon Platinum using only Rock-type Pokemon? As most of you know, Rock types are slow and for the most part, have very weak special stats. Off the top of my head, Golem and Rhydon will definitely be our heaviest hitters. Before we start, let's go over the rules. In battle I can only use Rock-type Pokemon. No items in battle, only held items and Pokeballs are allowed, no glitches or exploits. And lastly, HM Pokemon are allowed, for instance Fly, but for the most part, most of the HMs are going to be on our Pokemon. So, let's begin. So like every game, we start in Twin Leaf Town. Using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I change Piplup to Geodude, the earliest rock type we can catch, that way I'll have it for the whole run. I choose to replace Piplup because the Turtwig evolution line will most definitely give us the most trouble later on in the game. The first rival fight, we resist tackles, so I figured we'd win, but use a defense curl for safety. After trading tackles for quite a while, we win and we level up. When we get to nickname our Geodude, I give him the name Meatball. Shoutouts to my name Burger for always wanting me to name Pokemon Meatball. Her link's in the description, check her out. I race through Route 202, sweeping all the trainers since we resist all their moves this early on, and we get to reach level 9. I battle the trainers north of Jubilife and in the school, and fun fact, the one trainer's Badoo on north of Jubilife almost KO'd us since we're 4 times weak to grass. Aw, Gardenia's gonna be fun. We grab the Quick Claw, and then go to challenge our rival. We're at level 10 and take some growls before Turtwig comes out. We learn Rock Throw and keep chucking rocks as he raises his defense. A Quick Claw helps us get him to red, but he only tackles, so we win. Man, if he would've just absorbed, we probably would've lost. While searching for Onix, our second team member, I get some extra levels for Meatball since he's going to be solo carrying Roark's battle. After a silly amount of turns, we catch Onix and name her Nara, in reference to an older playthrough of a Platinum run. I also get a Zubat for Fly and Defog HMs. Name him Harley. Link in the description. Gym Leader Roark. The past 2 challenges, he was a pain. But we have a slightly overleveled Geodude with Magnitude, and he resists his Rock-type moves, so it's gonna be easy. Versus a Geodude, we roll a Magnitude 7 and OHKO. Kratos is next, and he leers, but we roll a Magnitude 10, instantly OHKOing. Last out is Onix. He chucks a rock for a measly 3 damage before we roll a Magnitude 7, bringing him to a Sliver. He stealth rocks, then a Magnitude 6 ends it. Easy fight. Next is the Windworks and Commander Mars. I lead with Nara for her Zubat. I build up my defense with Hardens as she bites us. We miss a rock throw and are at half health. We nail our next one but get hit with Toxic. Well, crap. Our next rock throw takes down Zubat, but our health is bad. I switch into Meatball and tank Fake Out. She hits a weak feint attack and we roll a Mag 6. I misclick defense curl as we're brought under half health, but our next magnitude is a 10, KOing. Whew, saved by RNGesus there. The Eternal Forest is a nightmare in this run. Pretty much each battle we either almost lose or we do. Being 4 times weak to grass really hurts, and we've actually had to black out from the forest a few times, and I forgot to save, so I take advantage of Cheryl's free heals and grind the team up a bit since the next gym is grass. Yeah, you can see my ears as we lose to random trainers, Beautyflies, and things that know weak moves like Absorb. Oh no. Real quick, I spent some time in the underground hoping to find a fossil. And while I'm here, I just want to say I'm planning a Platinum run with no Poke Center and no free healing, so testing if the underground can give us enough shards and items to sell for potions, etc. Anyways, after about an hour, and no fossil, I call it quits for now and prepare for Gardenia. Our first Gardenia attempt. My strategy is to lead with Nara and set up Stealth Rock since Gardenia likes to reflect usually on her Turtwig, but after going first, she Grass Knots, one-shotting Nara. Meatball's faster, so I go for Rock Blast. 4 hits KOs, bringing out Roserade, who one-shots with Magic Leaf. Man, rock types are bulky, so Grass Knight will have a ton of power. Plus, we're times 4 weak to grass, so we just can't live very long. So, I decided to grind the team up a bit and think of a new strategy. During the grind, I forgot Nosepass was in Mount Coronet. I catch him and name it Johnstone. Link in the description. Okay, back to grinding. Johnstone is a pain to grind this early. He's super slow, and I frequently need to heal. However, once I can get to Thunder Wave, I'll evolve him to Probopass, a rock steel type, meaning grass is going to be neutral. After over an hour of grinding Johnstone, he evolves into Probopass with a level up in Mount Coronet. With our new Probopass, I try Gardenia again. First is Johnstone vs Turtwig. I Thunder Wave as he reflects. I switch into Nara, hoping for Para, so I can set up Stealth Rock, but we get nailed with a Grass Knot. Next is Meatball. Since Reflect is still up, our Rock Blast is weakened, but RNG is on our side as we hit 5 Rock Blasts for the KO. I made an oopsie leaving my game in set mode from the early game. I have to switch into Johnstone and he gets a hit with a Grass Knot. Roserade and Johnstone trade paralysis moves. She hits another Grass Knot and we Rock Throw. She eats her berry, but is fully paralyzed, and another Rock Throw brings her to a sliver. She heals as we bring her just above half, but we go down next turn. Last out is Meatball. She's faster, and 2 Rock Blasts finish Roserade, leaving only Cherrim. But we get outsped and go down to 1 Grass Knot. We're close. Another short grind, and I think we'll have this. After a short grind and a ton of attempts, we have this battle. I lead with Meatball and Rock Blast hits 3 times for the KO. Nara's out next for Roserade. I use Dragon Breath for hopes of paralysis, but no dice, as she stun spores. Grass Knot KOs, and out comes Johnstone. We trade paralysis moves. She's fully paralyzed as Rock Throw does over half her health and pulls out the berry. Another Rock Throw brings her just above red health. We tank a Grass Knot and we finish her off. Last is Cherrim. We tank another Grass Knot and we paralyze her. Our good luck ends as we're fully paralyzed and we go down to a Magic Leaf. Last is Meatball. She's faster and we get a huge crit one-shotting, ending this cursed battle. Commander Jupiter was actually really easy, since we're really overleveled from Gardenia, and Meatball just one-shots Zubat, and even with getting poisoned, but our Magnitude 8 one-shots Skuntank. Pretty easy. After Jupiter, I continue spelunking. Finally, after such a long time, we get the Armor Fossil. I was hoping for the Skull Fossil, but oh well. I wonder what this Pokemon can be though. Leave your guesses in the comments below. I really don't know what it could be. On our way to the bike shop, Cynthia stops to give us an egg. This is such a shocker. I wonder what Pokemon hides in the egg. Drop your guesses below. Fun fact, post-editing Zaku, I totally forgot to include a clip when the egg hatches, so yeah, it's a Togepi. If you didn't know it was Togepi, then yeah, it's a Togepi. It's not a rock type, so we can't use it. Alright, so we get to Orberg City, and we get to finally revive our fossil. Last chance to guess what it could be. It's Shieldon. I was hoping for Cranidos, but hey, we get to work with what we get. I know I could have checked my trainer ID, which affects what fossil you get, but I was pretty lazy, and I honestly just didn't remember. I name him Don Geo, because, well, I actually really don't know. Just deal with it. That's his name. Alright? Just deal with it. After repelling and before I forget, I go to the secret entrance of Wayward Cave to get the TM for Earthquake, a 100 power and accuracy ground move. Let's hold on to this. We'll need it for later. And go to Fantina. Fantina time. I choose to lead with Johnstone for her Duskull. I Thunder Wave as we get hit with a Will-O-Wisp. Crap. Burn damage and we lose our attack power. Rock Throw does about 1/4 as Duskull loses its turn. Rock Slide does way more as Duskull lets out a Future Sight. I Rock Throw again as Duskull loses another turn. She Super Potions as we hit another Rock Throw. We tank the Future Sight and Shadow Sneak, but our health is dire. Rock Slide does a lot, but I switch to Nara. Duskull's fully paralyzed, so it's a safe switch. 1 Rock Tomb finishes Duskull. I go into Don Geo for Miss Magius. We take a Shadow Ball and hit a Swagger. She crits a Magic Leaf, and I misclick Swagger again. 1 more Shadow Ball finishes off the Don. I go into Nara and Dragon Breath for the paralysis, but we just don't get it, and we get nailed with a critical Magical Leaf. I go into the injured Johnstone and survive a Magic Leaf and hit an important Thunder Wave. Our burn brings us to 1 health, but we attack first. Rock Slide does just above half, but Shadow Ball finishes off Johnstone. Last out is Meatball. Rock Blast KOs, even with the berry bringing out her Haunter. Shadow Claw doesn't crit, so our Rock Blast hits twice, finishing this fight. What a battle. Rival time. Not having to heavy grind was a smidge worrying for me, but I think we'll be okay. Nara vs Staravia. I set up a Stealth Rock as Staravia double teams. We hit a Dragon Breath for decent damage as he hits a Wing Attack. Rock Tomb brings him to a Sliver as he Wing Attacks again. 1 more Dragon Breath and Staravia's down. Next is Johnstone vs Buizel. He growls as we Thunder Wave. Rock Slide hits him hard and causes a flinch. 1 more Rock Throw takes him down. I keep Johnstone out for his Grottle since we can still Thunder Wave him because he's not a Torterra yet. We paralyze him and he hits a really weak Razor Leaf. Rock Slide does a surprisingly small amount as he withdraws. He dodges the next Rock Slide and withdraws again. Another Rock Slide brings him under half. Our next Rock Slide causes a flinch. We bring him to red health as he hits another Razor Leaf. 2 Rock Throws, finish it off. I switch to Don Geo for Ponyta. He Tail Whips as our Rock Tomb hits hard. He hits a weak Ember as another Rock Tomb finishes him off. Since we're in Veilstone, we can go to the south for our next Pokemon, Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn is going to become a Rhydon, arguably going to be our best Pokemon this run. We catch him, and I name him Ramsey, since I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay, and he's probably going to be leading our team, so I don't know, it just seems to fit. And before Maylene though, I need to change some movesets, and honestly we need to grind a little bit. I give the Earthquake TM to Ramsey as well as Thief. Now let's grind a bit. Fun fact, actually, I just want to throw this in here. To give myself a slightly better time, I changed the impossible trade evos. So Golem is going to be actually the only one we get, just because I don't know, that just happened that way. And our Meatball vibed at the Golem while we were grinding. So, I mean, just wanted to point that in there. Maylene time. I have Ramsey take the lead against her Meditite. She hits Fake Out, flinching Ramsey, then hits a big Drain Punch, but Earthquake one-shots. Donjio comes out from a choke. Oh yeah, he's a Bastiodon now. Just want to point that out. We tank a Karate Chop, but we miss our Metal Sound and we go down next turn. Meatball's fast and Earthquake one-shots. With choke. I go into Johnstone for Lucario. Force Palm does a ton of damage, but we get our Thunder Wave off. Perfect. Another Force Palm finishes off Johnstone, but Nara is fast, and we could definitely outspeed. 2 digs, finish Lucario, and get us the Flash. Really easy fight, actually. Before Crash or Wake, it's a rival time. First, it's Ramsey vs Staravia. He double teams, but our Rock Blast hits twice for massive damage. Endeavor brings Ramsey to just 22 health, but 1 Rock Blast finishes him off. Next is Meatball vs Buizel. He Aqua Jets for good damage, but Meatball's Earthquake is a one-shot. Johnstone vs Grottle. We Thunder Wave as he Razor Leaves. He dodges our next Rock Slide and hits another Razor Leaf. Our next Rock Slide hits for good damage. Next, we bring him to just above red health as he withdraws. He dodges another Rock Slide and hits another Razor Leaf. We leave him with a Sliver as this Razor Leaf is starting to really hurt. One last Rock Throw, and Grottle's down. Nara's up to fight Ponyta. I go for Dig, and we dodge the Growlithe underground, then hit him, winning us the battle. Man, Grottle is already a pain, but Torterra is gonna be something else. Crash or Wake time. I have Donjio lead against Gyarados. Waterfall hits really hard as our Ancient Power only takes about a quarter, but we get the Omni Boost. However, it's not enough to tank another Waterfall and we go down. Johnstone's next. We tank Waterfall and we paralyze him. Rock Slide leaves him with a Sliver as he's fully paralyzed. Wake heals. Good. Our Shell Bell can actually give us some more health here. We Shockwave for massive damage and finish him with another Shockwave. I send out Nara for Quagsire to try and paralyze, but that doesn't happen and one Water Pulse pulverizes Nara. Meatball comes in to save the day, Earthquaking for a one-shot. The crit might have helped. Johnstone's banged up, so I have Ramsey to try and stall for Johnstone, but one Brine is enough to take out Ramsey. Johnstone's back out. He tanks a Brine and Thunder Waves. He goes for Aqua Jet, but is paralyzed as our Shockwave does massive damage. Even with the berry, our next Shockwave ends this battle. I can't believe Wake and Maylene were that easy. I was so worried about them coming into this challenge. Before we can take on Byron, we have another rival battle. Donjio's out for Staraptor. He goes for Takedown as our Ancient Power crits for a one-shot. Next is Nara and Heracross. I set up a Stealth Rock as we get 2-shot. Ramsey's next and tanks a Brick Break, but Rock Blast only hits twice and we go down. He hits a weak Night Slash as Meatball comes in, hitting hard with Return. Brick Break brings us to just 35 health, but we finish him with Return. Johnstone's out for Torterra. We can't Thunder Wave him now, and Nara's down, and we have no paralysis here. He hits a Razor Leaf for little damage, but he resists our Rock Slide. I misclick Thunder Wave and take 2 Razor Leafs. It's looking grim. We hit a weak Rock Slide followed with another, but his Razor Leaf is just destroying us. One final Razor Leaf finishes Johnstone. Donjio's next, and he tanks Razor Leaf and goes for Takedown. We get Leech Seeded as we Metal Sound. Our Ancient Power can't outdamage the Leech Seed heals, and we go down. Meatball's last, and he Mega Drains. Okay, let's reset and try this again. I change strategies and have Nara lead. He double teams as we set up our Stealth Rock. Another double team as we hit Dragon Breath, getting the para. We hit a weak Rock Tomb, but Takedown doesn't do too much. We miss our next Rock Tomb and get hit with another Takedown. Another miss as he sets up a third double team. We hit Dragon Breath as he's fully paralyzed. Another Dragon Breath as he hits Takedown, bringing Nara to under half health. 2 Dragon Breaths finishes Staraptor. Torterra is next. I try to have Nara do some chip damage. We hit a Dragon Breath that paralyzes. Good. He takes down Nara though. I go into Donjio and we hit 2 Metal Sounds and tank the Razor Leaf damage and avoid Leech Seed. Even with dropping his special defense twice, Ancient Power is basically just tickling Torterra. We tank Razor Leaf and keep Ancient Powering. 3 more, take him out. For Heracross, I send Meatball in. He uses Night Slash as a resisted Earthquake, brings him under half. Brick Break crits, taking out Meatball. Johnstone's next and tanks a Brick Break with just 7 health, well, 12 after the Shell Bell. Floatzel's next and takes down Johnstone with an Aqua Jet. Donjio's hurt, but tanks Aqua Jet and gets the Omni Boost for Ancient Power. Floatzel's so faster and takes us down. It's all down to Ramsey. He tanks an Aqua Jet and takes out Floatzel with a powerful Earthquake. Rapidash is last, but can't handle an Earthquake. Wow, that was really close. Steel Leader Byron. Magneton's Flash Cannon one-shots Ramsey, changing the whole pace of this gym. Nara's next, and Dig hits hard, but his Flash Cannon takes out Nara. Byron heals, but Meatball ends him with an Earthquake. Steelix tanks an Earthquake and hits really hard with Flash Cannon, but Meatball tanks and Earthquakes for the knockout. Last out is Bastiodon, but he can't handle an Earthquake. That was an unnecessarily scary fight. The Team Galactic commanders were really easy, and plus Ramsey evolved into Rhydon, so they really weren't worth talking about, so let's just go to Candace. Before Candace, I start south of Sandgem and find another team member, Sudowoodo. I name him Treant, cause, as they say, you either tree or you treant. Alright, anyway, time for Candace. 3 of our Pokemon are weak to ice, and all are weak to ground. I have Johnstone lead against Sneasel. We take a feint attack and leave Sneasel with a Sliver. Candace heals as our next Flash Cannon brings her to red. A weak feint attack and our Shockwave takes him out. I keep Johnstone out for Pillow-Swine, but we're slower, and Earthquake crits taking Johnstone down. I go into Meatball. We trade Earthquakes, but a second ends Meatball. Ramsey's next and hangs on to end Pillow-Swine. Her Abomasnow is terrifying. Her first Focus Blast misses, but Dongeo's Ancient Power hits for a little damage, even though it's super effective, and it gets taken out with the next Focus Blast. Treant's next. Focus Blast misses, but our Rock Slide does laughable damage, and a Wood Hammer ends Treant. Next out is our injured Ramsey. She full heals as our Rock Blast hits 3 times. One last Focus Blast ends us. Alright, grind time. I didn't think it was going to have to happen since Rock is super effective to Ice, but it's just not looking good. After a very long grind session, we level up our team a bit. After about 6 attempts, we have this run. Nara leads against Sneasel. Her Ice Shard crits, but Dragon Breath gets the para. Another Ice Shard ends Nara, bringing in Meatball. Sneasel's fully paralyzed and a Rock Throw ends her. Next is Treant vs Abomasnow. Rock Slide hits for massive damage, but Avalanche and Hail brings us under half. We were speed tied, so she hits a Water Pulse for the knockout. I go into Ramsey, but Wood Hammer one-shots. But the recoil ends herself. Pillow-Swine and Johnstone. One Earthquake ends it. Meatball's next and we trade Earthquakes. Candace heals, but we double stock, knocking him out. Last is Frost, last 2 Blizzards. Meatball. Last out is Dongeo. She double teams, but our Ancient Power does really good damage, and we get the Omni Boost. She double teams as her Ancient Power misses, but Blizzard does really little damage as her next Ancient Power knocks her out. Dongeo ultimately flexes on her with another Omni Boost, winning us the badge. What a Chad. While breaking into the Galactic HQ, Cyrus has this important announcement. To follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss another video. Ha, thanks, Cyrus. Alright, first Cyrus battle. Ramsey's out first and takes Sneasel's Ice Punch, Okoing with a Hammer Arm. I switch for Meatball against his Crobat. Air Cutter does very little damage as our Rock Throw does massive. He bites, but Rock Throw finishes him. Last is Honchkrow. Johnstone's out. Nightshade does good damage since it's level, so it bypasses the fact that Ghost is weak resisted. And we answer with a Shockwave. Another Nightshade brings us low, as our Rock Slide brings him to just a Sliver and pulls the berry. However, one last Nightshade finishes Johnstone. Dongeo's next, takes a Nightshade, but finishes it with Ancient Power. Commander Saturn's next. I have Ramsey lead against his Golbat. She goes for her Confuse Ray and we hit ourselves. We take Air Cutter, but miss our Rock Blast. Saturn pulls Golbat for Bronzor as we hit ourselves. We get hit with an extra Sensory, and then we hit ourselves. Finally, we break out and land a Hammer Arm for half its health, but we get crit. Treant's next and hits a weak Rock Smash, but we lower the defense. Extra Sensory hits for a little damage and Feint Attack for the Oko. Meatball's out for Toxicroak. We lose half our health from Brick Break, but we Earthquake, and we one-shot. It's back to Treant for Golbat. We get confused, but Rock Slide takes her to a Sliver. We lose a couple turns to Confusion and flinches, but finally, a Feint Attack finishes it. Fun fact, you can see how fried my brain is because I tried to run out of the room without freeing the lake Pokemon. Whoops. Distortion Cyrus fight time. This battle is really something else. I have Ramsey take on Houndoom. We get burned off Will-O-Wisp, but Earthquake still one-shots. Johnstone's out for Gyarados, but he's got Earthquake, so our team gets run through. I mean, literally, we can't survive because Gyarados is faster than our whole team. And plus, we're all weak to water, so he can Earthquake or Waterfall us. I mean, even with the rare candies, it's just not possible. So, I've got a long grind ahead of me. I go to the Valor Lakefront for close heals and just zone out to YouTube. Even though we have 20 levels, a lot of our team is slower than the Pokemon we're grinding on. Anyways, I bring the team to around 50 except Nara, because, well, Nara kinda After reclaiming Mount Coronet and fumbling through the Distortion World, again, we reach Cyrus and have about 13 attempts. Until this one. Treant vs Houndoom. Dark Pulse hits super hard, but Rock Slide one-shots. I switch into Nara for Gyarados, Dragon Breath, and we get the Para. but we go down to a waterfall. Jon Snow's next, and Thunderbolt leaves him with a sliver. Cyrus full restores, and Power Gem brings him to half. Jon Snow survives Earthquake, and we Thunderbolt to finish Gyarados. Next is Honchkrow. I go into Ramsey. We tank a Psychic and one-shot with Rock Slide. For Weavile, I go into Treant. We resist Fake Out and tank Ice Fang and Rock Slide for a one-shot. Last is Crobat against Meatball. Air Slash makes us flinch, and then badly poisons us with Toxic, but Stone Edge hits, defeating Cyrus. Man, that took so long. Time for Volcaner, and I made some oopsies here. Let's get into it. I start with Nara. Jolteon misses Iron Tail, so we get an Underground for free. Dig hits hard, but his Iron Tail hits for about half, but another Dig finishes him. Raichu's next, and a Focus Blast ends Nara. Next is Ramsey. I misclick Strength, and Focus Blast hits so hard. Strength does good damage, but another Focus Blast finishes off. Next, Meatball. She survives the Focus Blast and unleashes an Earthquake to finish Raichu. Next is Luxray, who brings Meatball to just 10 health, but Earthquake one-taps Luxray, bringing out Electivire. I keep in Meatball for the odd chance we can outspeed, or maybe we miss, but we go down to a Fire Punch. What a flex. Next is Johnstone. He tanks a Thunder Punch and hits Power Gem for a good chunk. The next Thunder Punch crits and paralyzes Johnstone. We lose a turn and get finished off. Last out is Treant. He tanks Thunder Punch, and Rock Slide does massive damage and pulls the berry, bringing him out of healing range. The next Thunder Punch doesn't knock us out. Rock Slide hits, getting us the badge. Man, if we would have missed that Rock Slide, I think we would have lost. Pre-Elite Four rival fight. Don Geos against Staraptor. Close combat hits super hard, but Ice Beam crits, taking down Staraptor. Torterra's next, and Crunch knocks out Don Geo. Nara's out next, and I Dragon Breath, but we don't get the paralysis, and we go down to a Leaf Storm. Treant's next. We tank a Leaf Storm, but we do laughable damage with Rock Slide. Earthquake ends Treant. I go into Johnstone, but Earthquake finishes him. Meatball's next. Leaf Storm hits hard, and Flamethrower brings him to red, but Earthquake finishes Meatball. Last is Ramsey, who tanks a close combat and one-shots with Rock Slide. Floatzel's next. Aqua Jet does a lot, but Ramsey one-shots with Earthquake. Snorlax is next. We outspeed, and Earthquake brings him to red. And if Shellbell didn't heal us, Snorlax Earthquake would definitely have knocked us out. Our next Earthquake finishes him. Next is Rapidash, who misses Bounce, and our Earthquake one-shots, winning us the battle. Wow, that was super close. Elite Four time. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. Johnston's out for Yanmega. Bugba does little damage as Power Gem one-shots. Heracross goes for a weak Night Slash as Flamethrower brings him to half. He Mega Horns, bringing Meatball to half, but another Flamethrower ends him. Scizor is next, and Iron Head ends Meatball. Treant's next, but two Iron Heads end him because we flinched on the first one. Ramsey's next, but he's faster, and Earthquake brings him to a sliver as Iron Head crits. Aaron heals, but two Earthquakes finish him off. Johnstones vs Drapion. X-Scissor doesn't do too much, as Power Gem does about a quarter health. Another weak X-Scissor, but we paralyze. Another Power Gem brings him under half and pulls the berry as he hits another weak X-Scissor. I Power Gem, bring him to a sliver as another X-Scissor hits. He full restores as Power Gem hits for good damage. I paralyze him again as he hits another X-Scissor. Two Power Gems ends Drapion. Vespiquen's next. I paralyze for safety as she misses a turn. Thunderbolt hits hard as her next attack order does a little damage. I Power Gem and finish the Aaron fight. Ground Trainer Bertha. I mean, it's just a slaughter. We just don't hit her Pokemon hard enough. We're just also too slow. Whiscash drops Nara and Treant and Meatball like they're nothing. Hippowdon hits like a freight train, and Gliscor just obliterates my team. I mean, most runs we never get past Gliscor, and I mean, occasionally we've reached Rhyperior, but we're just too weak. Alright, I brought the team to about the 60s. And for this fight, Meatball leads against Whiscash, goes for Sandstorm, so Earthquake brings it to a sliver. She full restores as the next Earthquake leaves it with the tiniest sliver. Aqua Tail hits hard, but Return finishes it. Hippowdon Earthquake's knocking her out. Ramsey's next and surprisingly tanks Avalanche to counter, knocking Hippowdon down. Gliscor's next. Since Ramsey has more health, he tanks Earthquake and OHKOs with Avalanche. Golem's next, and Ramsey stays in and OHKOs with Earthquake. Last out is Rhyperior. He survives and retaliates, knocking out Ramsey. Dongeo's next for Ice Beam, but Earthquake one-shots. Treant also can't hang on and goes down. This is bad. Johnstone's next, and finishes Rhyperior with one last Flash Cannon. Wow, that was close. Fire Trainer Flint. Ramsey starts against Houndoom, tanking Dark Pulse and one-shot with an Earthquake. Next is Infernape, who's faster, but his Earthquake does really little damage as Ramsey one-shots. Rapidash is next and begins charging Solar Beam, but Earthquake one-shots. Last is Magmortar, who also goes for Solar Beam, but can't handle an Earthquake. Well, that was kinda easy. Psychic Trainer Lucian was just brutal. Since our special defense is relatively low, first is Meatball versus Mr. Mime. He puts up Reflect, but our Earthquake crits for the one shot. Meatball stays in for Bronzong, since Flamethrower does half damage, and it burns actually. He hits a weak Psychic, and one more Flamethrower ends it. His Scary Gallade is next. I go for Treant, but Leaf Blade crits. Next is Nara. Reflect ends, but Dig still does like nothing, and Leaf Blade one-shots, bringing out Ramsey. He tanks Leaf Blade and Earthquake, finishing Gallade. Next, Alakazam. His Alakazam has ruined me in so many runs. Focus Blast mainly, but he also has Energy Ball. Why does he have Energy Ball? Well, it takes down Ramsey. Meatball can't hang on as another Energy Ball ends her. Johnstone's next, and I forget about Synchronize as I Thunder Wave, paralyzing us both. He misses a turn as Power Gem hits hard. Next turn, he misses Focus Blast, and our Power Gem crits, knocking him out. Last is Espeon, who Johnstone walls. We Thunder Wave, both paralyzed now. Psychic is doing okay damage as our first turn we get full parried. Then, Power Gem hits hard. We tank one last Psychic with 10 health, unleashing our last Power Gem, ending this fight. Champion Cynthia! Yeah, if you thought Bertha was brutal, well, we don't stand a chance. I mean, most of her team literally destroys us. Lucario, Togekiss, Milotic, Roserade. I don't even know, man. A lot of attempts, she makes like tons of switches, which I've never seen. And Lucario and Togekiss combined both have Aura Sphere, which just runs my team. Well, time to grind again. So fun fact, all of my heavy grinds in these challenges, I like to keep the quest with Riley for the free heals. When you're done, you can actually leave through the way you came in, so he'll still be there, in case you need to grind again. Anywho, I just want to give a shout out to Flats, Kefri, and Madrybread for keeping me sane during all my grinds. Links in the description. Alright, Champion Cynthia time. Again. Johnstone's against Spiritomb. We paralyze him on the first turn. Next, he hits a weak Dark Pulse. His Power Gem does really good damage. I switch for Thunderbolt, and it crits, knocking him out. I have Meatball come in. She tanks an Aura Sphere and Earthquake one-shots. Next is Roserade. I send in Dongeo. Energy Ball does a little as our Ice Beam brings her to under half. Energy Ball brings us under half as she's left with a sliver. She full restores as we bring her under half again. We take one more Energy Ball and end her with Ice Beam. Next is Garchomp vs Ramsey. We tank an Earthquake, which powers up an already ×4 ice move, Avalanche, and we one-shot. Next is Johnstone for Milotic. I Thunder Wave for safety as she misses a turn. I know she has Mirror Coat, so I use Power Gem to soften her up for Thunderbolt. She's fully parried. I risk the Thunderbolt for massive damage, but she's fully paralyzed again. One last one-shot ends her. Last out is Togekiss. I keep Johnstone for hopes for paralysis, but Aura Sphere Okos. I switch for Nara. She outspeeds and lands a massive Stone Edge, but falls to an Aura Sphere. Last is Treant. He tanks an Aura Sphere and hits the final Rock Slide, ending this challenge. Wow, this challenge was brutal. I thought with the amount of Pokemon we'd have, we wouldn't have to grind as much as we had to. But Gardenia, Cyrus, Bertha, Cynthia, they were just all brutal fights. And areas like the Eterna Forest had a couple of resets in them. All in all, this challenge was a lot of fun. I don't really get to use a lot of Rock-type Pokemon, so having to dedicate a whole challenge to one of my favorite Pokemon, Geodude, was just really fun. But anyway, make sure you guys are following me on Twitter for updates. The links are in the description, as well as to join my Discord to hang out with me and the community we're building. Also, don't be afraid to recommend me some Pokemon challenges, either in the comments or on Twitter, and lastly on my Discord. Lastly, don't forget to check out all the people in the description. My next challenge is looking to be a Pokemon Silver Machop only run. Can't wait for that. Honestly, the only reason I want to do that is because I really like Machop's back sprite in Gen 2. It looks so cool. All in all, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys click the bell so you never miss an upload. I have a lot of things planned, from more Pokemon challenges to actual cooking videos in the future. So yeah, stick around for that. And until next time, peace.